You've probably heard the term sovereign citizen, and if you haven't, you will. It's a phrase tied up in FBI watch lists, courtroom meltdowns, anti-tax conspiracy theories, and this wave of people screaming that the government has no power over them, while still depending on that same government for roads, water, food, and Wi-Fi. But here's the thing. Buried under the paranoia, the cargo cult law books, and the crumpled up versions of the Constitution, there's a seed of something real. The idea that no one has the right to rule over you, that freedom doesn't come from government or market, but from existence itself. That's not dangerous. That's enlightenment. But the version we see today, the one wrapped in American flags, court filings, and antisocial rage, that's not sovereignty. That's desperation posing as rebellion. These folks don't want freedom. They want control. They want to be king of their own crumbling hill, to swap one set of chains for another and call it liberty. And I get why people are drawn to it, because the system is broken, because the state is corrupt, because corporations do treat your life like a product. But pretending the government is a corporation because of gold fringe on the flag isn't the answer. Filing fake liens and rejecting your birth certificate won't make you free. It just isolates you. It traps you in a fantasy. It feeds the machine you're trying to escape by making you the problem instead of the system. But what if we take that raw, primal urge to be free and actually ground it? What if we reclaim sovereign citizen, not as a fringe legal tactic, but as a principled identity? Let me show you what the fuck that really means. A sovereign citizen in the Enlightenment socialist tradition doesn't reject society. They reject coercion. They reject systems that make survival conditional. That say you only have the right to live if you can pay, obey, or produce for someone else's profit. A sovereign citizen doesn't retreat into delusion. They build alternatives. They believe in designing a world where no one has to obey just to survive. They don't want to be above the law. They want to live in a world where no unjust law is needed in the first place. They aren't anti-community. They're pro-consent, pro-autonomy, pro-dignity. And here's the twist that makes this real. You don't need to wait for some perfect future to become one. Being a sovereign citizen starts now. It starts with the mindset that you belong to yourself, that no one owns you, not the boss, not the landlord, not the cop, not the state, not the market. It starts with acting like your dignity is non-negotiable, that your life is worth more than your productivity. It starts with rejecting scarcity as natural, with questioning why you need to work 40 plus hours a week just to stay alive when we already have the tech and resources to automate survival itself. A sovereign citizen understands that true freedom must be built through infrastructure, through design, through cooperation that is chosen, not forced. And yes, that means liberation infrastructure. It means earthships, solar autonomy, localized food systems, shared fabrication tech, decentralized networks, universal access to basic needs without toll booths or price tags. But those are just tools. The real transformation begins here, in your values, in your refusal to be a slave to a system that exploits. You don't need to pretend the IRS is fake to reclaim your soul. You just need to recognize that you were never meant to be property of a job, of a state, of an algorithm. The right-wing sovereign citizen says, you can't tax me. The Enlightenment sovereign citizen says, you can't own me. And that's the difference. One is fueled by fear. The other is fueled by vision. So yeah, maybe you feel something stirring inside you when you hear those words. Maybe part of you wants to break out, to live on your own terms, to stand for something bigger than red tape, rent payments, and corporate scripts. That feeling? That's not insanity. That's not extremism. That's the spark of enlightenment. Feed it. Reclaim the title. Be a sovereign citizen. Not in fiction, but in practice. Not in fantasy, but in philosophy. Because the future doesn't belong to the deluded. It belongs to the liberated.